Students, good morning, all of you. So, today we will study the how the vegetative propagation by leaves. So, all the structure which help in vegetative propagation, which whether we are talking about tuber or a bulb of a onion, these are all termed as a vegetative propagules, because they help in vegetative propagation. So let's now talk about leaves. It is something which is not very common. There are certain plants where buds are formed along leaf margin which later give rise to a new plant. Okay, this is, I will give you an example. That is a bryophyllum. It is a type of a plant which is also known as a miracle leaf plant. So though it is not a miracle, but this phenomenon is not seen in any other plant. That's why it is called a miracle leaf plant. So what happened exactly is, as you look it in the picture, so this is the leaf margin. On the boundary of the leaf, the birds are present. Okay, the birds in a favorable condition gave rise to a new plant. So on the leaf, birds are formed, and sometimes by wind or by some external agent, this gets fall into the soil and give rise to a new separate plant. In fact, it might get carried by some animal, by water, by wind, and when it fall on a soil, then it give rise to a new plant. So basically, from one plant, we can also get birds also get transferred and give rise to a new plant. So this is called a vegetative propagation through leaves. So these were all the method of vegetative propagation, where we saw the leaves, stem, and leaves. Okay, through which vegetative propagation takes place. So they are all natural vegetative propagation, because leaves, roots and stem, they exist that in nature. We do not do any modification. When we talk about potato or onion or a bryophyllum, we have not looking for the changes. So whatever it is that is present in them by itself, and they give rise to a new plant with similar characteristics as their parents. So we really do not have any control on which type of plant is produced. But when we talk about artificial propagation, here we have some method like cutting, layering, grafting, and by these methods we control. So if we want certain characteristics, so we can do that. So I'm just giving you a example. Let's say that you want a rose plant, where the rose should be half yellow and partially red in color. So if you want that, so by natural vegetative propagation it is not possible, because it is something which you wish, but the natural vegetative propagation by itself. But with artificial vegetative propagation, which you can actually do this, you can actually take some part of the rose plant, yellow rose plant, and some part of the red rose plant, and then mix to form a new plant which have partially yellow and partially red in color. So that is artificial vegetative propagation. It is completely out of control, and we can decide the characteristic of a new plant. Okay. So now we spend some time to understand these artificial propagation, vegetative propagation. And it is utilized, in fact it is to some extent it exploited by farmers and for commercial propagation of plant. That is, they want to produce more red roses plant, because red roses, it is more beneficial. They earn more profit by selling red rose plant. So they use this method of vegetative propagation to increase the production of red roses. Okay. So to some extent it helps, and to some extent they might exploit this entire process. So let us look at the first artificial vegetative propagation, that is cutting. So what can we do with cutting? Here a plant part is cut from the parent and put into the soil, which later give rise to a new plant. So have you ever seen that if you have a small garden in your house, you and your neighbor, if you want to grow a plant, what do? Sometimes you just take a stem of a plant and then you come back to your home and put it into the soil. And after some period of time, it grow into a new plant. Okay. So basically, you help the plant to reproduce, and the new plant is formed with the help of one plant part from the parent. So this is called cutting, because actually you are cutting one part, and that is capable of giving new plant. So let us look at the example. The most common example is rose. So if you want to have a new rose, all you need is a stem with some leaves, and then you put it into the soil, and over a period of time it becomes a new plant. So it is true for sugarcane as well. There are certain plant where root cutting, not the stem of all plant give rise to a new plant. So in some plant, that capability is with the root. For example, dahlia. Dahlia is kind of a flower which is quite big in size. It is also available in many different colors. So in case of these plants, if you take a stem of this plant and then put it into you don't get a new plant, because stem is not capable to give a new plant, but the roots are. So in case of dahlia, you needs this kind of root which you are able to see in the picture. These are the modified roots. You remember why we are talking about natural vegetative propagation? We said that can happen with the help of a roots. So dahlia is such example where vegetative propagation take place through roots. Okay. And they are capable of bearing buds. So they can give rise to a new plant. So in this case, we have to cut the root and then put it into the soil, and over the period of time it given to a new plant. Now the second method of the artificial vegetative propagation is layering. So what is layering? So what do we do with layering? Now here basically new plants are formed from the stem of parent plant without detaching them initially from the parent, like how you do in cutting. We cut the part of a plant with this parent plant and then put it into a soil where we get a new plant. But in this case, we help in producing new plants with the help from the stem, but we do not separate it. So let's see how it to do. This sound is interesting. We are not going to separate the stem from the parent. So how the stem give rise to a new plant? So there are two ways for this. One is mound layering and second is air layering. So let us look at both of these method. So the first method is mound layering. In fact, in both of these, it applies to a lot of plant, a variety of plant grown by this method. For example, strawberry, guava, China rose, etc. So these are all common example of plants which are artificially reproduced by using the method of layering. So let's just look at the mound layering. Now looking at this picture, can you guess what is mound layering? So if you look at this is your parent plant, correct? So this was your parent plant, and what you do? You just took the stem of this plant and forcibly put it into the soil. Now when you forcibly put it into the soil, what happens? And cover it with soil, you see that this particular part of the plant is very well covered with soil. And soil contain moisture, it contain water with all dissolved minerals. So over a period of time, what you observe is that the roots start to develop from this part of the plant. That's because this plant is getting all the nutrients, minerals, everything. So that's how after some time the roots will start developing from here, and you actually have a new plant here. So when this new plant completely formed or matured, then these detach from the parent plant. So this is how mound layering takes place. The next method is air layering. So in air layering, what is done? An aerial branch is covered with moist mud. So you see that this aerial plant, something which is in the air, which is not toward the soil. So this part has been scraped and you covered it with moist mud. So it is like a bandage. So you're just doing a bandage with a moist mud. Why moist mud? Because it is like the soil. With water, it is moist. So it has, because it has water, it has minerals, it has nutrients. So everything which is needed for the plant to grow. So you just put the bandage of the moist sand or mud, and then you cover it with a plastic. After some time, what you observe is a new root starting develop from this part. So you see roots starting develop, okay, which is required for the growth, whether it is a water or mineral or nutrients. So roots start to develop here. Now once roots started developing, this new plant is detached from the parent plant. So we have cut it from here and then we got a new plant. Okay, so you got a new plant. So in fact, a huge variety of plant can be grown by this method. So why this is called a air layering? Because this entire process is in air. It means you did not pull the branch to the soil. You do not do all that. The branch remain as it is. It is an aerial branch and it is remain in the air. Since it happens with an aerial branch and while it remains in air, there is no need. That is why it is called air layering. Okay. And why it is called layering? Because if you look at it what we are actually doing it, we are not cutting anything from the parent plant, everything with the parent plant, but we are just putting the layer of an additional thing for a new plant to form. So in this case, we just put a layer of a moist mud. In case of mound layering, what did we do? We just put a layer of soil to that particular branch. So because of that, a new branch will form. So this is how layering form to grow, layering help to grow a new plant. Okay. Now let us look at the third method, which is called grafting. So this is also going to be very interesting because this can actually mix and merge a new plant. The stem cut from two different plants and attached to grow as a single plant. So this is the example which I was giving you initially while I was introducing the artificial propagation. So if you want your desired character plant, if you want a certain characteristic from one plant and certain characteristic from plant 2, so you cut the stem of both the plant and then attach them together and they both will grow together as a one plant. So this new plant have a certain characteristic of 1 and 2 plant. Okay. So let us see how this happen. So let us see that these are two parts which are taken from the two different plant. So this is the stem from one plant. This is the stem from another plant. So this part which is taken from one plant is called spiral. And this plant which is taken from another plant is called stalk, and it provides water and mineral to the plant. So this part is responsible to provide water and minerals to the plant. So this stalk and scion, they together make a new plant. So how do we make this? So what we do is the scion and stalk, they are like, can you see the way they have been cut? So if they are cut in this way, so when they put together, no gap is left between them. So it is very important that you make sure that scion and stalk should be exactly fit, leaving no gap. That's why there is a slant cut. So that is why you have a slant cut here. So this land cut is actually help in better fitting of these both of these. So you just bind them with something maybe like thread or something. So it is like a one structure now, one single stem now. And then with this plant grow, you have a certain properties of plant 1 and certain properties of plant 2. In fact, I will give you an interesting example where grafting is used. Lemon and orange. These are two different things. So take this example of lemon and orange. Do you think that they are exactly identical to each other? Not really. However, both of them are citrus fruit, but they are different from each other. So what makes them different? Both of them are obtained from one plant with two different scaran and stalks. So the stalk is same for both of them. That is why they have certain similarities, but the scaran are different in both of them, which make them different from each other. So this is how you can get a new variety of plant with new varieties of flowers, with new traits of fruits, with new traits of vegetables. So this method can actually help to improve the quality of certain plants, because the choices are in our control. So if you feel that something certain fruit is rich in iron or vitamin or some other food which are rich in the water content, and we want all of them in one plant, so what we can do is we take scaran from another stock from other and do this process of grafting. So grafting will actually help to innovate a better plant which are nutritionally better and which are healthy for us. And as I said, all these methods are these days exploited by the farmers or gardeners or other people for their benefits, or sometimes it becomes disadvantages as well, because people might also trying to mix and match some low quality plant with some good quality plant, which might also decrease which might also retard the quality of certain plant. So these are the methods by which vegetative propagation can be done artificially. So by now we have discussed a lot of by which asexual reproduction take place. So if you look at it, in all these methods, what did we see? We do not require two parents. Everywhere we require only one parent. One parent plant is able to give rise to a new plant in all the artificial as well as natural vegetative propagation. Okay. There was just one parent which is involved. Okay, I hope we have discussed all the method and you understood all the method. If still you have confusion, you can ask me in your WhatsApp group. Okay, thank you, students.